The enhanced choice model, it's related to skills-based treatment, but kind of the twist on it is you have these 3 ongoing choices that you present to the learner, and the learner always has the option to practice, to go to hang out, or to leave. And for the people that I've worked with, I just generally tell them that's what it is. I've given them the article that Diti Rajaraman wrote, and this is, do you want to do this model? And so far they've said yes, and I'll have a little conversation with them, like, it doesn't seem like anybody would ever choose practice, do they? But I don't know, this is what it says, I guess we'll see what happens. We've been working on that, and I've got a little more than a year's worth of data on that too. Part of why I was interested in it in the first place, I think, is just because I've used parts of it in my thinking and in my practice and in my parenting before, but it puts it together in a much more elegant way that you can explain to other people, which has really helped get some buy-in. And then as the research builds, I hope that research will support that that's a better way of interacting with people.
Very cool. Can you tie that into your personal story about?
Sure. I have 2 kids. My older son is an adult. He's 21. His name's Gabe, and he's on the spectrum. He has some really complex and severe mental health issues as well that have come about, especially in his teen years, late teen years. Growing up, he and I were pretty inseparable. I was a single parent for a long time, and I felt a lot of pressure to get him to do things like other kids at the right time. And when he didn't, or when we had problems with that, or were unsuccessful, I felt like a failure as a parent. And I kind of felt like I got that feedback from the people around me, and the solution seemed to be that I just wasn't teaching him right, or he appears like many other people. Why isn't he doing this? So things like riding his bike, that kind of a rite of passage, and I tried to teach him how to ride his bike every year for several years, and we got nowhere except for getting increasingly frustrated with each other, and even my family couldn't understand why couldn't I get him to ride his bike. So finally I was just like, I told my dad, like, okay, you teach him. And my dad spent a couple hours and was like, no, you're right, he can't be taught. This isn't something that's going to happen. And that was kind of a realization for him. He just wasn't ready. So we've had a lot of those stages. When he was 16, the entire year, anytime someone asked him how old he was and he said 16, they asked him, oh, you've got your driver's license. No, he doesn't have his driver's license. He's not a driver. He really was not able to do that. He still isn't. He might be one day, but not now. It felt like a failure, like every time we had to have that conversation. So I think I got to a point when he was in high school, probably around when he was 16, where I realized that I can keep with this pressure and this feeling of pushing through it, or I could have a relationship with him, but I couldn't have both. There was a cost. There was a cost associated with worrying about every little thing and feeling the pressure and acting on the pressure from other people about what he should be doing. I was getting emails all the time about his grades, and one day I just thought, I don't need to be on this email list. I don't have to care about his grades to be a good parent. I know he's smart. He's gonna do what he's gonna do, and I can let go of that because I wanna spend time with him and just be with him. That was really a turning point. Once I was able to let that go, I literally took myself off of being notified by Power School every single day what his grades were, and our relationship definitely improved, and I would consider it really close. It doesn't solve everything, right? But it makes me feel like as those bumpy areas come up in life, I think he feels supported, and I feel like less of a failure as a parent when I'm not focused on what is he not doing that the other people are doing his age. Now we're at the point he's 21, and many of the people he went to high school with are graduating college, and he's not graduating college now. So every time you reach another milestone like that, you kind of have to come to terms with that again. So as far as the enhanced choice model goes, I think I did learn that that's something that he needs. He needs to have an out. He needs to have an option of doing something in his way. And then he can have an option of doing something the way someone else wants him to do. And he has to have those at all times. And if he has those, he's not always going to choose to do the things that other people want him to do. Probably not even half the time, but when he does, it's authentic and it's his choice, and he's less likely to experience all of those emotional pieces that come with pushing yourself through something. So even right now, I'm in New York, and right after this conference, we're going to New York City, and my partner and I and my 12-year-old are traveling there. And Gabe is right now in Albuquerque, and he has a plane ticket, and he's supposed to take an Uber to the airport. I have his bag here already. He needs to get on the plane, direct flight to New York City, and I get him in the morning from the airport. And Sunday we have tickets to go see Hamilton, which is awesome, and I think he'll enjoy. And he might come, and he might not come. And he might go to Hamilton, he might not go to Hamilton, right? And that is really hard as a parent. I spent money on the ticket. I care about him coming. I really do care. I want him to come. Yeah. But if there's an exchange that he perceives, to get that from me, like if he perceives that, then it's not supportive for him, and it increases his anxiety. And it makes it less likely that he'll be able to come. So I've been getting a lot of text messages from him, he's especially concerned about leaving his cat, which is like his whole life. He's never left his cat for a couple days. We got a cat sitter. He's got cat TV. We have all of the parts of this, Yesterday I would have said, I don't think he's gonna come. This doesn't look like it's gonna happen. But today he texted me this morning. His flight doesn't leave until 11:30 p.m. and at 10 a.m. his time he was ready. Yeah. So we'll see. I think he might come.
11:30 tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, he only had 13 and a half hours to wait.
So it takes a lot of trust and, like you said, resource dedication and things like that to follow through with basically an enhanced choice model with your son.
It's like calling someone's bluff all the time.
Yeah.
And you have to be completely willing to lose and fail and be rejected.
Yeah, and that's I don't know what other word. It's just like beautiful that you embrace that so much.
Yes.
So I just want to say thank you for sharing that.
Well, yeah, I think that my son has taught me that is the way to be around him. That is the way that he can be supported. And once I understood that about him, all the people that I work with, I was able to shift into that for them as well. It doesn't matter what I intend to convey with my support. It matters how the person feels supported. Like, that's really the only thing that matters.
My hope is that there's at least one parent that watches this and connects the dots between the enhanced choice model thoughts here and what you shared here today. My expectation though is that there'll be many more than one. There's a number of parents that follow the channel, and it'll be really cool to see what the comments are on how people think about this.
It really does. I think it's counterintuitive a bit. Yeah. And I guess what I try to tell when I'm talking to parents about this, you're gonna buy some movie tickets that don't get used. You're gonna buy some meals that don't get eaten. You're gonna go to pick someone up that doesn't come out of their house. Yeah. If you see every single one of those as a failure, then that's going to take a toll on you, that you're not going to be able to sustain that. I've tried to reframe my thinking when I've purchased something that's an opportunity for my son to come join me in something. Whether he actually comes or not is not what I'm purchasing, and I'm not purchasing his ability to come. I am purchasing and showing him with my behavior that I believe he could come. And so whether he comes or not, I've purchased that, it's bought and paid for, and he sees that, he knows that. And he knows if he doesn't come, I'm gonna still give him another opportunity. It's not the end. I'm not gonna hold it over him. I do really think it is very hard for him to come to do things. It is very, very hard. It doesn't seem like it should be, you know, for a lot of us, but it's a struggle, so.
I'm gonna be on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I know, right?
To update me if you
I
don't
know,
mind on
so
an
when he
email.
gets on the plane,
Yeah.
it'll be 11:30 Mountain Time, so that means here it'll be 1:30 a.m. and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have my phone on and just see what happens, because I don't know. But again, you know, we put all the things in place. What is there that could potentially make it more likely that he could come? You know, the things that he cares about, and we'll see. I'm Melisa Santacroce. I'm a BCBA and an SLP, and I own Balanced Speech and Behavior in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I work with across the lifespan with a bunch of really talented people, and we are doing some research with enhanced choice model right now in particular, and yeah, really excited to see where that goes.